Hello friends! Today we create together this beautiful long exposure night. So let's get started. First of all, we create a background layer in black. Then add a new layer and call it long exposure or something similar. On this layer we take a soft brush in about 2100 pixels size. Hardness is 0, and we create approximately on this place, just with one click, like a kind of long exposure. Add a new layer, and on this layer we create another one, a smaller one, in about the size of 1800 pixels. You can vary whatever you want, what you think, or you can correct later, because you just delete the layer and try again. So let's take it about this on this place, about here. We can correct later, it's no problem. We call it long exposure middle. Next we add the forest. I have this forest from Pexels. I give the download link in description. Open the Pexels image in Photoshop. Make a selection of the forest, and if you want, the birds too. For a non-destructive workflow, you just add a layer mask. That's what I did already. Let's activate it. So we have now just a selection of the birds and the trees. If you don't want to have the birds too, you just delete them or just cover it. Take a black brush, foreground color is black, and make a hard brush, 100% opacity, and just cover with black on the layer mask. Make sure you have the layer mask active. You just delete them. Convert the layer to a smart object. Right-click on the layer, create a smart object. Click on the image of the forest and drag it to our exposure night. Hit OK. Of course, now it's on the wrong place. We just drag it to the top. And we call it forest. Of course, this is looking pretty weird. Now we have to make a color adjustment layer. We make it black and press Alt or Option, and now we see that arrow. Just click and you made a clipping mask. Now we have to correct the place of the forest. I think we're gonna place it a bit more to the bottom. Control T and drag it down like this, maybe like this. So here we go. If you want, you can rename the color adjustment layer and say black forest. I just see that I didn't really work properly here, so I think I just have to open and reopen the tree again and make those corrections. You can take your time and correct this. I think you know what I'm talking about. Just save it if you made the amendments, and close the file, and your corrections will be visible here. Now it's time to add a new layer. Make sure your foreground color is black. Take the polygon lasso tool and add our first hill. You just can try where you want to place it. Doesn't matter, we can correct it later. Now hold Alt or Option and click Delete to fill the selection with black. Control D to deselect. Repeat this process. I speed this up. By the way, this is just one way you get to the final artwork. Maybe you have a workflow which works better for you. To make it easier for us later, we take now those hills in the right position. I click on one and see this one is the bottom one. So I drag it to the bottom and rename it bottom. Click on next. This is the right place already. I say lower middle. Next. Okay, we drag that down and say upper middle. Of course, this one is top. Now we create a layer mask to make the transition to the fog or long exposure a bit smoother. Let's start with the top one. We create a layer mask and take a soft brush, about 70 pixels, and start to make this transition here a bit smoother. We click once at the bottom at that position, click Shift and click again here, so you have one line. You may correct it from hand if you want, that it's not so looking so straight. You can leave it however you like it. Then the next one, layer mask, click once, Shift here, layer mask, click once, Shift, click here, or again, so you have just make it looking nice. Here again, layer mask, click once here, Shift, click here, twice maybe. I think we're going to correct this one. I click on the layer mask I want to correct. I make the foreground color white. I press X and click Alt or Option and delete, so I have it white again. So we can restart to make the transition. Click again, foreground color black, take the brush again and just repeat what we learned before. This is looking better. However, you can just make these corrections if this is not looking so good. Now it's time to add the moon. On top is on this layer, we create a new layer for the moon. Call it moon. Now you take the brush, our moon brush. You find the link in the description. And you can take this moon you like most. And of course the size is absolutely your choice. And click once. On this moon we have to do another layer mask where we can just cover the under part of this moon with black. We take another small smooth brush and make these corrections. Just click that much you think it's looking still okay. A bit smaller. Press X to bring the opacity back from the moon. That's it. We will have to make some corrections at the end. This place here is not correct looking. Now we have to add a bit light behind the moon, so we add another layer and call it Backlight Moon. We take a soft brush the size you can check what you like and just click once, and now we have to bring back the opacity. You can do whatever you like, how much you want it. Now you see the backlight lightens up the moon. That we have to correct that, so we just make a layer mask on the backlight we make a selection of the moon by clicking Command or Control click on the moon. Go back to the layer mask of the backlight moon layer. Hit X to bring back the foreground color black, and click Alt or Option and delete. Also, we have to make correction here. Go back to the layer mask, deselect, Control or Command D, foreground color black, and we take a hard brush, just the size, to bring back the original here. Here we go. Now it's time to make some final corrections. I think we have to bring back down that layer with the forest. So click on the layer, Control T, and just move it a bit down. Same I will do with this lower long exposure layer, Control T, and move it down. Commit the change. Also, I think that this upper middle should be between those. That's really what you ever like. You can try it out, bring it down, and bring this down too. But then you have to correct this layer mask on this top one. Of course, you can take your time and fine-tune this, also the other corrections. This is it actually. However, for my version, for the trees, I used some brushes. But as these brushes are not available for free, I thought we work with a photo. You can also work with vector files of forests and trees. This is totally up to you. I think you got the idea. So this is actually it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the thumb up. And I would love to see you again, and bye bye.